Welcome back to the series on how to use FreeCAD. In the previous video, we had a very good time installing the software and setting up some of the basic things about the software. Also, I showed you some things about shortcuts. Now, in this video, I want to highlight something that is important. Have you ever been on any software and you're just like, what does all these things, what do all these things mean? These tools, all this array of things here and there. I know that I covered a little bit of it in the last video, but from an engineering perspective, I want to talk about the tools that we will be using, at least in this first series in this course on FreeCAD. I believe that in future courses we will go more in depth into some other advanced things that you can do with FreeCAD, but in this first series I want to keep it as brief as possible and as complete as it can be. As an engineer or as an engineering student, you usually want to represent engineering drawings in FreeCAD. Like, you want to develop the solid models, not just for the purpose of developing a solid model, for instance, not just for the purpose of developing something beautiful like this. The end point of designing this kind of object in engineering would be to communicate your thoughts effectively to whoever is going to manufacture this part. Now, there are different ways that you can manufacture this part. For instance, if you are manufacturing it through 3D printing, it only requires you to save it in a particular way and make sure that your work is according to some settings, which we may not cover in this series, but in subsequent series we'll cover it. So if it's according to those settings, then you can easily 3D print your work, and that's it. You don't have to dimension or anything like that. But when you are preparing this work to be manufactured by our conventional processes, like for instance milling or on the lathe, this may not be able to apply on the lathe, but maybe by some other manufacturing processes, you really have to consider, okay, which kind of technical drawings do I need to be able to present this work effectively? Do I need an isometric view or an orthographic view, or all of these things? So I want to talk about the workbenches or the flow that can enable you to do that. So I will start a completely new document, and I know that you are not used to these tools. I'm assuming that you are a complete beginner, so you may not exactly follow me through as I do these things, but I want you to understand the workflow that I'm using. So usually I told you about the workbenches in the last video. FreeCAD workbenches are an accumulation of tools. They are tools grouped together to form a whole. So for instance, every time you load up a parametric part like this, the default space is called the Part Design Workbench, and basically, as the name implies, you are meant to design parts there. How do I design a part? Very simple. I start a sketch. So create sketch, and then I select a plane, and I'm just going to go very quickly, do a very simple sketch, and just don't try to follow me. I'm trying to explain the workflow. So I'm going to do a very simple sketch of a rectangle. So just click here, there. But I want you to notice something. As I created the sketch, it moved me to the Sketcher Workbench. So we are now in the Sketcher Workbench here. So usually, the workbenches that you need as an engineering student or as an engineer, you may need others too later on, but the basic workbenches, you need the Part Design Workbench. That's where you design your parts, and in the Part Design Workbench you create a sketch that takes you to the Sketcher Workbench, which that is what we are in right now. So this Sketch Workbench enables me to create simple or complex shapes like this, and these shapes can help me to create the basis. So this is not like the basis for a part that I will be creating. I will just extrude this part and it becomes a solid object. So I'm just going to leave it at this 10 by 10 block. So imagine that I want to tell a manufacturer to manufacture this part for me, or a technician to manufacture this part for me in the lab or in the workshop. How do I do that? That is where isometric and orthographic, majorly orthographic views come into place. So let me just save this. I'm going to save this very quickly as let me save it in my documents under FreeCAD. I'm going to save it as example. So this is a simple example block. I want to tell the manufacturer to make me this block. I know the dimensions 40 by 50, but there is no way for me to I can't snap this picture and send it to them. So I need another workbench that will help me to present this in technical drawing form. So how do I do that? Simple. I come to the workbench selector here and I come to TechDraw. So TechDraw Workbench is what you need to create engineering drawings. So I come to just create a blank template here, and I'm going to insert my view. So like I said, there may be no need to follow me. I'm just trying to show something very quickly. So this is the front view, that's the top view, and this is the left view. So I'm just going to leave it at this. Click OK, and I'm going to dimension it. I'm using it to show you that the workbenches that you need to make engineering drawings are the Path Design Workbench, the Sketcher Workbench, and the TechDraw Workbench. So those are like the 3 basic workbenches that you need. Although in your time in FreeCAD, you will definitely have a need for some other workbenches. For instance, if you do architectural or structural drawings, you may use this beam workbench or some others. If you want to make CAM designs, or what I mean is computer-aided manufacturing, you may need this CAM workbench. If you want to do FEM analysis, you may need this FEM workbench. If you don't understand any of those things, don't worry about it. Just know that the basic workbenches that you need are the Sketcher Workbench here to create simple sketches, to extrude your objects in the Path Design tool. Then you need the Path Design Workbench, and then you need the TechDraw Workbench. So in this video, we have talked about the essential workbenches that you need. Not that others are not essential, but these 3 workbenches are things that would really help you if you master them in your engineering career, if you use FreeCAD over long term. Thank you for watching this video. I will see you in the next video, where we would actually start learning about the Path Design Workbench and how to create sketches. Please don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel. It helps us to reach more people that need to learn these things. Thank you very much. See you in the next video.